Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Know, Connect, Thrive podcast of the Marfan Foundation. I'm April Donchinsky. I'm the Chief Communications and Marketing Officer for the Foundation, and I'm thrilled to have with me for our inaugural podcast Dr. Kim Eagle, Jan Lynch, and Andrea Friedman. Dr. Eagle, why don't I turn it over to you to introduce yourself first?
Thank you, April Dawn. It's wonderful to be here. I'm Dr. Kim Eagle. I'm a cardiologist. I'm one of the directors of the Frankel Cardiovascular Center at the University of Michigan, and I'm delighted to be a partner with the Marfan Foundation.
Jan?
Good morning. I'm Jan Lynch, a nurse, and one of the nurses at the Help and Resource Center at the Marfan Foundation.
And that Help and Resource Center, by the way, is a free resource to anyone in our community who needs your assistance. We also have a bilingual staff person there, Kathleen, and Steph, right, your counterpart. So free resource for the community anytime they need it. And Andrea, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Sure. I am Andrea Friedman. I am the Director of Community Programs at the Foundation, working on a number of our programs, including support groups, camps, conference, etc. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have all three of you. Dr. Eagle, customarily we're going to start this podcast off with what we call Eagle's Wing, which is going to usually be a quick research update from you. But since it's our first one today, I wondered if you might talk a little bit about what you hope this podcast will do to enable our community members to know, connect, and thrive.
Sure. Well, I'm delighted to help lead the Genetic Aortic Network for the Foundation. And that's a global effort of scientists to connect together and push the boundaries for better prevention, research, detection, and care for our patients with genetic disorders that are part of our community. And by doing that, we hope that every podcast or videocast that we have will allow insights as to further research that is pushing the boundaries for better care. We also hope that this effort will help us build community and also improve empowerment of patients and families to continue as they strive and thrive with the types of conditions that they have. So it's an effort on our part, I think, to connect, empower, improve, and move forward together.
That's terrific. And I have a feeling that some of the insights you share will really help the patient community open up new dialogue with their own healthcare providers, right? I think that's going to be a positive side effect here.
I think for sure. I mean, as research leads to better care, then we need to make sure that better care is available. And patients who have rare conditions must be their own advocate. And that's something we're trying to provide a whole toolkit of knowledge that our patients and families have as they work with their caregivers.
That is amazing. I think that's a pretty great goal for us together. While we're talking about knowledge, I'm going to actually shift things around a bit and go to you for a minute, Jan. You work with an awful lot of members of our community. They come to you with a whole variety of medical questions. Folks might be veteran community members who have been around for a long time, very familiar with their own conditions, but have a new question. You often get parents that have just learned that a child has Marfan, Loeys-Dietz, VEDS, Stickler syndrome, or a related condition. We're in the kind of the season of gratitude right now. So I'm wondering, Jan, what are you thankful for? What have you learned from our community members that makes you grateful right now?
Well, that's a very good question, April Dawn. I must say that at the Help and Resource Center, and you mentioned that we have myself, another nurse, Steph, and a manager, Kathleen, who does a lot of international work and Spanish speaking in other languages. We learn every single day there from the people that reach out to us, whether it's by email or by phone. We learn about the knowledge they've gained, the resources that they have, so many things that they learn, the experiences that they've had. Just as an example, and we have support groups too, that many support groups. And just as an example, we have a 50 plus support group. And the collective knowledge that is in that group is amazing, that they share and support one another. So I'm very grateful for the community and all of the knowledge that they continue to gain, whether it be through us or from other people. And then on a whole other level, April Dawn, I'm very grateful and witness the resilience and determination that people in our community possess. I mean, they try not to give up. They seek out resources. They advocate for themselves, as Kim, you've mentioned, which is something that many people outside of our community don't have to do or need to do or know to do. And I'm very grateful to see that part of it, the resilience and determination. And then lastly, I'm very grateful to witness the power of connection through us at the Help and Resource Center, our support groups, our walks. It's incredible the resources that we have where we can connect those in our community. And the knowledge that's gained just from those connections is amazing.
That is amazing, Jen. I'm really lucky to manage a lot of our social media and see so many folks commenting about you, about Steph, about Kathleen, about the ways the Help and Resource Center folks have, help them connect with things like the right doctor, get the answer to just the right question on the right day. So thank you so much for all you do. I know the community is super grateful for you, just as you are for them. And Dr. Eagle, same question to you. I know you must learn quite a bit from patient interaction. What are you grateful for that you've learned? What have your patients taught you?
Well, I think it starts with steady progress in care has allowed our patients to live fuller, longer lives. And and they're pushing people like me and people doing research to go further, faster, harder to the solutions, right? And if you think about the Marfan patients, they've now got a chance for a very long life, whereas 40 years ago, that was completely different. So for each of the conditions that we work on, I'm grateful for the steady effort of scientists and caregivers working with the community to push the boundaries for better care and better survivorship and what we call thrivership. Um, and it's truly the energy and passion and drive and bravery of the patients and families that fuel people like me to do what we do. And it's one thing to sit in an audience and give a talk to people who are doctors or nurses. It's quite another to be surrounded by a group of people who have conditions and the passion and desire and effort that they bring to thrive inspires. There's just nothing like that. That fuels every day of my life. And I'm so grateful to be part of it.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that, Dr. Eagle. And, Dr. Eagle heading up the Genetic Aortic Network. I know you once described that to me as an army of scientists around the world. And I kind of love that image. All of you are fighting so hard for our community members, and we totally appreciate that every single day. Andrea, Dr. Eagle kind of alluded to, this notion of the fight that our community members have in order to, get the best care, to have the most information they can, to really be empowered and in order to thrive. And I know that living with a chronic condition, there's a lot of really hard days, and you work with a lot of our community members to try to help them get through those hard days. But what role can gratitude play? It may seem a little incongruous, this idea of gratitude amid a really hard thing, but what does the research tell us, Andrea? What have you personally seen in your work around how gratitude can be healing and helpful to thrivership?
Sure. Gratitude is absolutely something that can benefit and does benefit our community. There's a whole science behind it, and Dr. Eagle can get more into it than I can, but suffice it to say, there's a whole body of research that shows that the strength of the mind-body connection, which is why at the foundation we offer so many mental health resources. But gratitude is a practice, and it's something that every single one of us has the ability to do. And I've seen it in our communities, community members who are, seem to have a better quality of life. And the body of evidence shows that it helps to decrease anxiety, increase sleep, decrease depression, just an overall improved quality. And that's really what we're here for. And there are so many different things that people can do on a daily basis. And it's not something that comes naturally to most of us. We're hardwired to be more of the negative. But with practice, there are small things that people can do. And it's not about denying that people are living with these very difficult conditions and have awful days, but it's really about a mind shift and it's a practice. And so, just like with anything, people can learn to express more gratitude and live within the realities of their bodies and their conditions and their situations on a day-to-day basis. But by practicing that gratitude, they can absolutely have an increased outlook and feeling and quality of life.
That's
And Andrea
absolutely.
had us doing that within the staff. She set up a calendar and we had a gratefulness practice every single day. And that was a great tool, Andrea, that forced us all to practice it
Right.
each
It's
and
not
every day.
natural,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
absolutely can be learned and does make a difference. And the science is behind it.
And that's the perfect segue, Jen, because I also wanted to ask Andrea just, quickly, are there some quick examples? The calendar's a great one. I know journaling can be a great one. Two things you'd say are a way to start, make a beginning.
Sure. I mean, and the beauty is it can be practiced anywhere. Some people, in order to have a regular practice, will do certain journaling or things in the evening before they go to sleep or in the morning when they wake up. But it can be as simple as, you know, identifying if you're that day, if you're feeling pain and let's say your scoliosis has been giving you a whole lot of discomfort rather than focusing on how awful it is, acknowledging it, of course, because we're not saying that it doesn't exist,
Sure, sure.
acknowledging it, and also focusing on what part of your body is actually feeling good today. And so it's those small mind shifts. And so if you tap into your body, whether it's in the morning or during lunch or whenever. It has to be a practice that you really focus on. And eventually it becomes more second nature. But so that's just one thing. One thing is thinking about the people in your life who have made a difference. It could be somebody as simple as the person that brings you your food while you're in the hospital and gives you that nourishment and that sustenance. And then taking it a step further and expressing that gratitude. So putting that gratitude into action is very very helpful for people.
We can all benefit from that practice, I think,
Yeah.
puts gratitude into action, right? So, again, just to kind of to dive in a little bit to the harder parts of these conditions, we know that they can be very isolating. Any chronic condition, folks can feel very much alone. With the holidays coming, winter holidays for many folks, it can be a particularly challenging time. Any tips? I'll start with you, Andrea, and then certainly Jan and Dr. Eagle can chime in as well. Tips for kind of coping, particularly during the holidays.
Sure. As you said, I mean, we're not talking at all about toxic positivity, acknowledging that there are people that we've lost and people that we wish were here. So taking that time to acknowledge that, and then also taking the time to focus on what that person has taught you and what you're able to do today as a result of that person. So that's one thing. The person might not physically be there with you, but they are there with you and they certainly have given you life lessons. And there's a reason you miss them because of the impact that they've had on you. So the other thing I would say, absolutely reaching out. Isolation and loneliness are very, very challenging. And so what we do, whether it's with a support group or just somebody, even if you haven't spoken to them in a while, connect. Don't sit alone in isolation. And if there's no one, if you're not able to speak, write. Writing is very powerful, or draw them a picture, or whatever it might be. You can channel the person that you're missing, and there's always a way to connect in some way.
That's so helpful. Jan, do you have any quick tips as well? I know you
Well,
do a
she
lot of
did.
this
Andrea
work
did a
too.
beautiful job. I must mention the 50 plus group because they are people in our community that have lived with this condition for years. And they bring up, they're just so wise, and they bring up about connecting and that, of course, the gratitude they will, Andrea, bring up about feeling grateful, being grateful. They're living proof of, I guess they've learned over the years to not isolate, to connect, to be grateful, you know. But it is a hard time. We see that at the Help and Resource Center. We often follow up just by nature of people coming to us and we go back to them. And I've noticed that people that isolate, it's hard, and then they tend to even draw back more, you know, rather than coming forward. And I think coming forward is better, but sometimes harder, you know, coming forward to connect, you know, rather than drawing back.
Yeah, I think that's challenging for so many people. And it's great that we're talking about it. We should add too, these first two episodes of our podcast, as I had said to Andrea, Jan, and Dr. Eagle, think of it in Broadway terms. We're in previews right now. When we really hit Broadway center stage in January with our first official launch of the podcast, we'll be having a lot of community members on to hear their own perspectives, right, directly from them in the first person. So, you know,
That's
today we're
great.
offering our tips sort of as staff people and providers, but we're looking forward to hearing a lot from our community members as well. Um,
Okay, John, I wanted to mention, I saw
yes.
a person just a week or two ago, a young woman with vascular EDS, and she gave me a metaphor that was really powerful. She said, before I was part of the foundation and the community, I felt like I was lost on a lonely island. And after I began to connect, I felt like I was marching down the streets of New York City arm in arm with literally an army of people who have my problem
Uh-huh.
and who together are living and striving and moving forward. Um, and I heard another interesting thing a few weeks ago talking about when the clouds are dark, start by counting your blessings and then use that to connect with people that you know lift you up. Find your sunshine people and go to them and don't be afraid because they want to help. They want to connect with you. I thought those two sort of interesting things that came across my view the last few weeks were relevant to the discussion today.
They sure are. They absolutely are. And I love that idea of finding the sunshine. So, kind of going to do a lightning round here on a topic that is sunshine oriented, and that's hope, right? Just go to each of you quickly. We'll start with you, Dr. Eagle. What gives you hope right now in 2025 as we're sort of ending a calendar year?
I think, well, it starts with the community that we serve. Their passion and commitment to pushing the boundaries for better health, better care, um, fuels the genetic aortic network. Um, we have scientists around the world who are vigorous in their efforts to improve the way our patients and families live and survive and thrive. And it's fueled by the hope in the community there. And if you go to any of our events, whether it's a walk or a symposium, it's just all around you. And it's wonderful. It's the human spirit.
It's amazing. The human spirit is a powerful thing. Jan, how about you?
I'm hopeful now because of the strength and determination that we see at the Help and Resource Center. I'm also hopeful because of all of the advances that Dr. Eagle has mentioned, both for the years before I ever arrived at the Marfan Foundation and to the years that I've been here, to see those advances and the research that we're developing and we're working on and developing. And I'm hopeful because of um, all of the resources that we continue to come up with at the Marfan Foundation to support those at the Help and Resource Center. We just keep getting more and more ways to provide support so that when people come to us, we have the hope that we can help them.
That's a pretty great hope to have. And Andrea, what gives you hope at this time of year and always for our community?
Sure. I have a lot of hope for the same reasons that Dr. Eagle and Jan have just mentioned, just the advances that we've made and looking at families that have multi-generations of individuals who have a diagnosis of one of the conditions that we that we serve, and just the differences in care and outlook for the kids versus, just 10 years prior, their family member didn't necessarily have the same benefits that they receive. And what really I guess gives me that picture of hope is when I'm at our kids' camps and I see kids who really are there. They're just kids. I mean, they're so they're obviously they have their struggles. But for them, they're almost they wear it as a badge of honor. I've had 3 surgeries. I've had 5 surgeries. I've had the fact that they're able to even with all of what they go through to really just thrive and to be kids and have a positive outlook on life. And I think that speaks to just so much of what the foundation is about and has been able to achieve with amazing experts like Dr. Eagle and amazing community members who, let's face it, they are the heart and soul and the the drive of the organization. So I have hope that together we'll really continue to make an even bigger impact.
That is so well said. The community members really
Mm.
are the heartbeat of every single thing we do. And I want to touch on that for a minute. Really important to us as an organization is being good stewards of our donors' dollars so that we can fund programs like Camp Victory, like the Help and Resource Center, work with the Genetic Aortic Network. And, we're going to always close these podcasts with some little fun factoid. The factoid for today is not many people realize that 82 cents of every single dollar that's given to the foundation goes directly toward our mission, toward programming, toward research, toward education. I just want to end by asking each of you, what does that mean for your work, knowing that our community is not only so engaged, but also so incredibly generous? So, Dr. Eagle, I'll start with you on that one. What does it mean to know that our own community members really are powering our mission and your ability to advance science?
Uh, if we don't have investment, we won't make progress. And we want the investment to matter. We don't want it to pay for overhead or buildings. We want it to pay for things that really impact people's lives. And the research and the translation of that research into knowledge, and then the delivery of that knowledge into various types of vehicles that we have, and the building of community, that's where all of the action has to be. And I'm so proud of the foundation for that 82 cents out of a dollar. That's really impressive. And it's paramount because rare diseases don't get a lot of funding. They don't get a lot of government funding. So to have our members and donors say, yes, we will fight these disorders together, and to use the resources carefully and wisely like we have, I think says a lot.
I agree.
Yeah.
Andrea, what does it mean for you to know that the programs can be robust thanks to this funding?
Oh, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, we give out so many scholarships to our camps, to our conferences, to some of our other programs, and without those donor dollars and without our making sure that we have maximum amount of funds to give to the community members to participate in these programs is just it's paramount. And so I'm proud of the work that we do, and I'm proud of what we do with the donor dollars. And I also, to me, what's really touching is that everyone can be a donor. And so I know certain people who have given $20 and, to another organization, they might see it as, not a whole big deal, but those $20 for that person I think is a testament to the impact that we have. And of course, we're going to do our absolute best to make sure that that money is used wisely and for the purpose that it's intended.
I think what you said is so right. Every single dollar that a community member gives here, a lot of places say it, but we really feel it, I think, as a staff team and a science team. We really appreciate every single gift. We truly do. Jan, I'm going to give you the last word on all of this. Tell me,
Uh,
what does it mean to you to have a free help and resource center? And I should mention, and we'll put all this information down below as well, but marfan.org/ask, anytime that you want to try to reach the help and resource center, that's where you would go. But Jan, talk about what it's like to kind of have helmed that free help and resource center for a while and now be working on a team with Steph and Kathleen.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, it empowers us to have that support. It uplifts us. We now have, over the years that I've been there, we have so many more resources that are now available that we can share with those that come to us. And as a result, not only do we support others, but we feel the support from them back to us. And that's pretty amazing that we can continue to grow and develop and support anybody that comes to us. Andrea had mentioned about the multi-generational thing that goes on in our community, and that's so true. We have family members that come to us, and then their aunt, the cousin, or the brother, or they continue to gather more people coming to us, and so the support, the financial support that we get is incredible because we just keep helping more and more people who come to us from multi-generational families.
What an amazing way to end this talk today. I am so grateful to each of you. I know we're all incredibly grateful to every single member of our community, and we are really proud to serve together in a way that we hope helps more people to know, connect, and thrive. We'll see you next time when I'm sure Dr. Eagle is going to give us a year-end wrap-up of great advances in research this year.
Oh,
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
happy Thanksgiving.